the CAS review. Let's talk about this some more. Aren't you sick of the words CAS review? Anyway, CAS report. Finally, the CAS review has had a peer review from experts in the area in the UK. We have covered on this show quite a lot how other countries have completely shredded the CAS review. Multiple other countries, in fact, basically all of them apart from the USA, who came out with their own version of the CAS review, run in secret, where they hid all the names of the authors who turned out to not be experts in the thing at all, and is run by RFK Jr., who doesn't even believe in germ theory. Anyway, there's definitely a correlation between insane, hateful science deniers who don't care that children are dying of measles and thinking that trans healthcare should be banned. Like, there's a strong correlation, and there also seems to be a correlation between experts who do actual research and actually peer review stuff and supporting trans rights. So anyway, we have a paper here by a load of experts in trans healthcare, and it's pretty bad for the CAS review. This thing fucking shreds the CAS review. So they basically look at a number of things. One of the things they evaluate is there's a standard practice to measure bias, or risk of bias in papers. So they ran that. They reviewed the evidence that the CAS review comes to. It's pretty damning. So they say, using this tool, which measures bias, they identified a high risk of bias in each of the systematic reviews driven by unexplained protocol deviations, ambiguous eligibility criteria, inadequate study identification, and the failure to integrate consideration of these limitations into the conclusions derived from evidence syntheses. They also identified methodological flaws and unsubstantiated claims in the primary research that suggest a double standard in the quality of evidence produced for the CAS report compared to the quality appraisal in the systematic reviews. Pretty damning. The conclusion further down is pretty brutal. Where was it? It's like... here. We have demonstrated, so this, like, one of the main issues with the CAS review is it wasn't peer reviewed at all, and Baroness Hilary Cass had no expertise in the field at all and did a really fucking terrible job. Anyway, we have demonstrated that the report's application of this for trans healthcare for children and young people is deeply flawed. Our critical analysis reveals significant methodological problems in the Commission's systematic reviews and primary research that undermine the validity of the CAS report's recommendations. During our review of the report and supplementary research, we found insufficient statistical rigor, unreliable data sets, claims presented without evidence. Man, this is like you failed your fucking GCSE if you got this as a report on it. My goodness. And misrepresentation of quotes from primary research participants. Yeah, I was seeing that, like, someone in one of the reports had said there's lots of different ways to be trans, and then Hilary Cass then came out with, and that's why we should encourage people not to medically transition, because you can still be trans and not medically transition. And that isn't what the person was saying at all. She just lied about what they say. These flaws highlight potential double standards present throughout the review and its subsequent recommendations, where evidence for gender-affirming care is held to a higher standard than evidence used to support many of the report's recommendations. Yeah, exactly. So she said, oh, there's not enough... I've thrown out 99% of the evidence, and now there's not enough evidence to support gender-affirming healthcare or trans healthcare. So now I'm going to recommend conversion therapy based on absolutely nothing. I have absolutely no evidence at all for the thing that I'm going to recommend, but I'm just going to recommend it anyway. Just so brazenly a scandal, this thing. It's just such a disaster, such a joke of a report. And here we have it, in writing, in a peer-reviewed paper. These flaws highlight... Oh no, we just done that one. Considering this, the CAS report's poor understanding of trans identities and experiences it is vital to question the integrity and validity of the review's recommendations and the appropriateness of basing healthcare policy on them. To uphold its commitment to evidence-based medicine, future gender-affirming care research must generate robust observational data, involve trans communities, and prioritize patient-centered outcomes, ensuring validity, generalizability, and cultural relevance. Shredded. So this report in them yes, in the peer review it says here, the researchers conducted analysis of the CAS review and its finding, headed by Dr. Cass, a pediatrician without prior experience in trans medicine. I wonder why they picked her. Maybe because she's gender critical. The review declared that the evidence in favour of gender-affirming care was shaky and that trans youth should generally receive exploratory therapy, often a euphemism for conversion therapy. So, yeah, complete bullshit. So the part this covers that I wanted to highlight, one of the most frequent criticisms of the CAS review since publication was its exclusion of previous research the authors deemed to be of low quality. As the peer reviewers noted, the review additionally failed to include any research not published in English. What? Nor did it examine grey literature, i.e. research published outside of traditional medical channels. The review found that the CAS review excluded 48% and 36% of studies for puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy, respectively. So, like, half the evidence. Based on claims that these studies were low quality, a criterion the reviewers noted did not align with the research best practices, so literally just made it up. Some sections of the CAS review also used a tested method called the Mixed Methods Appraisal Tool to classify studies of psychosocial support interventions as low, medium, and high quality. The authors of MAT themselves actively discouraged the use of an overall score of quality. When using the tool, the reviewers wrote, because such scores are reductive and do not provide information on which aspects of the study are weak or problematic. But yeah, anyway, this has completely, again, for like the 50th time now, completely shredded the CAS review. And I think this is the kind of thing, again, when you're writing to your MP, you can say, the ILGA rainbow map now puts us at 22nd in Europe, and we are dropping fast. Also, again, another peer review, yet again, has found that the CAS review is like fraudulently bad and terrible. Also, the EHSE is terrible. Like, these are like really clear, important things that you can highlight and are worth constantly pointing out to these people who literally know nothing about what is going on. So it's good to see this. Will this make a difference to like Wes Streeting? No, because he's a fucking dickhead. But will it make a difference to organizations around him and people pressuring him? Yes. And I think these things are important and it's good to see. If you want a full summary of it, like, it is hard to keep up with how much stuff has shredded the CAS review. There are so many things that have responded to it and called out. Dr. Ruth Pierce has a very good and thorough like summary of everything wrong with the CAS review, and has like, we've covered this a few times before, but like goes into detail of all of these responses. There are a lot of them, highlights the relevant things, has all these different categories based on different types of expertise. But I mean, look at it. This is the kind of thing you can send your MP as well and just be like, look at all these things, shredding this stupid report. So yeah, the CAS review gets shredded again, and it will get shredded again, and it will keep getting pulled apart and keep getting exposed until people stop referring to it. And I do think as well, this HHS, the report from the Trump government, basically saying the same things as CAS review, but even more crudely put together, even more dumb, even more brazenly corrupt and stupid. I think that kind of helps us too in the long run. So yeah, well, I think we are going to see this crumble. It's just going to take a lot more time and sustained assault. One of the things I am feeling at the moment is we're down bad, we're in a bad spot, but we've got momentum is building, and we're starting to be relentless, and this is what we need. We need to be relentless. We need to just constantly annoy the MPs with letters. We need to constantly go to protests. We need to constantly talk with trade unions and publish papers about things. This stuff needs to just not be just like a one-off thing, and you can't feel deflated when one thing in particular doesn't do something. We need to just keep fucking going. Keep going. We can do it.